always watching out for you. This is KOAA News 5 Today.
We do want to begin by saying good morning. It's 6 a.m. Glad you're waking up with us for News 5 Today. I'm Ira Cronin.
And I'm Bree Groves, and we begin this morning with breaking news out of Ukraine.
Russia and Ukrainian officials plan to meet again today for another round of negotiations. Meanwhile, Russian forces continue an all-out assault on the city of Kharkiv.
According to the Ukraine State Emergency Service, the video geolocated by CNN here, the regional police department and Kharkiv and the National University were targeted in a military strike.
This video released by Ukraine's Ministry of Emergency Situation. It shows the regional headquarters, they say, of the Ministry of Internal Affairs in flames as firefighters attempt to get them under control.
Ukrainian leaders say the strike killed at least 21 people and wounded another 112. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov warned this morning that if a third world war were to take place, it would involve nuclear weapons. Today, Russia claimed to capture Ukraine's southern port city of Kherson. It's the largest Ukrainian city to fall to Russian forces since the start of the invasion. Russian forces have also disabled the instrument room of the main television tower of Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. Russian officials also claimed that Russian aircraft had delivered a massive strike on Ukraine's military infrastructure today.
This morning does mark 1 week since Russia invaded Ukraine, and they continue to turn up the pressure on Ukrainian soldiers as well as volunteer fighters.
The fighting has become more violent. It's become more deadly, and with the Kremlin clearly now targeting the two largest cities, Kyiv and Kharkiv.
Now, Kharkiv currently surrounded by Russian troops, and deadly airstrikes continue. But a senior U.S. defense official tells NBC News that Russian convoy that stretches for some 40 miles, that sits about 3 miles outside of the capital city of Kyiv, has stalled and is facing fuel and food shortages.
But as the fighting does intensify, so does the rush to get out. Close to 700,000 have already left Ukraine, and that number expected to grow significantly over the next several days.
And this is a big tragedy for me to leave my city, and actually I don't know am I going to come back or not, and I don't want to leave, but it's completely dangerous to stay here.
No food, no bread, no water, no tablets, no pharmacy, nothing. And the people of there staying, no money to go out, to run, no money.
I can only imagine. The UN warning this situation could quickly become Europe's largest refugee crisis this century.
In response to the more than 700,000 refugees fleeing Ukraine, the United Nations launched emergency appeals to donors for $1.7 billion to urgently deliver humanitarian support to people in Ukraine and refugees in neighboring countries. In total, the UN says that could reach up to 16 million who need that help.
Over 280,000 of those refugees have made their way into Poland. Now, most of these videos and pictures we're going to show you right here were taken by a medical student from Canyon City who's going to school and currently lives in Poland. And she's opened her home up to a Ukrainian refugee who fled from Kyiv. Alex Olev is now safe. She said she got on the last seat of a bus that was leaving the city, and she says Poland has welcomed the thousands of Ukrainians with open arms, which inspired Joanna to do the same.
I think I just kind of was a really big wake-up call that, I don't know, certain things just don't really matter. And I don't know, and I think, like, especially seeing how much like Poland has been able to help its neighbor has really like inspired me.
The two women are said to be working together to create a verified list of ways people can help in Ukraine from anywhere in the world. Several members of Congress showed their support for Ukraine during last night's State of the Union address.
A lot of audience wearing blue and yellow along with Ukrainian flags.
President Biden started his speech by laying out America's response.
Together with our allies, we're providing support to the Ukrainians in their fight for freedom. Military assistance, economic assistance, humanitarian assistance. We're giving more than $1 billion of direct assistance to Ukraine.
First Lady Jill Biden was seated with the Ukraine ambassador to the U.S., and they were joined by other guests, including educators and members of the tech community.